Think back. What are the most memorable moments of your life? Are the ones where you were comfortable sitting on a couch and a sofa like what you are doing right now? Was it when you were sitting on a beach having a nice drink? Or was it when you accomplished something, when you really fought yourself against a big challenge and came out strong? Were those moments where your son, your daughter, your family members got a promotion, got a job, achieved something big? Reality is, we all run away from trouble. But the fact is, the trouble is what really tests you. Trouble is what we really should be aspiring for. Trouble is what we should be waiting for. And that's why my topic, always invite trouble. Hi guys, this is Hetal here, and I'm going to walk you through some interesting aspects about trouble. Very famous quote in Hindi which says, Bail Mujhe Maar. So I'm going to ensure that after this session, all of us will be stepping out and looking for the nearest cow or buffalo or bell to come and hit us. Interestingly enough, I would want to take you back a little into history, right? The prehistoric men, the nomads, were always running. Either they were running to catch a prey or they were running to not become a prey to a predator. And that fear, that uncertainty, that ambiguity that stayed with the human being mind has not gone back, even though we have passed that generation long back. We still fear ambiguity. We still fear uncertainty. And the biggest challenge, we fear failure. We don't like to be in the unknown. We prefer to be in the known. We want to be in a comfort zone. And comfort is the biggest detrimental for success. The moment you embrace comfort, your life stagnates. The moment you decide that I want to have a luxurious living, there is no reason for you to really work hard. And the moment you don't work hard, the juice of life goes away. Let's take back to our childhood. And I think there are some seeds which were sown right in childhood itself. When we were small, our parents used to protect us. They would make sure that we don't fall down. They would make sure that we are able to eat something even before we are hungry. And sometimes we would like that, but we didn't have a choice. We were just fed whatever parents felt was good for us. And as we grew, once we started going to college, once we started going to school, our teachers were again very nice to us. They were teaching us, taking care of us, ensuring that if we fall down in the playground, there would be someone coming and helping us. If you're not feeling good, if you're feeling sad, there's someone going to take care of us. There would be an infirmary in the school to go and help us. The moment we step out in the world, we realize that all that catering, all that caring for took us in the wrong direction. It made us believe that the world is safe. It made us believe that the world is a playground where you can just play and not get hurt. But the reality is different. The reality is that you will only succeed when you start facing challenges. Challenges are where you test yourself. Challenges are where you know what is in it for you. What are you born for? What is your purpose of life? If you go back to what the famous Austrian Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl said, it is the adversities which bring out the reality. It is the adversities which tells you what you are made up for. Mark Twain used to say that all my life I feared stuff, most of it never happened. Fear is a concept in our mind. We always assume things to be far more difficult than they actually turn out to be. You talk about the biggest catastrophes in the world. You talk about the biggest calamities in the world. The anticipated fear is far larger than the real truth. You take COVID, for example. The number of deaths actually from COVID were a fraction of what was predicted. People said the entire humanity might be wiped out. The total deaths worldwide were close to 10 to 15 million. That's the reality of every challenge you face, right? Let's look at sports. What would be more interesting? Would it be interesting to see India beating Pakistan, where India scored 300 and Pakistan got out for 100? Or whether you would like to see a struggle happen, a challenge happen, where Pakistan was almost coming to 270, 280, and the last wicket went and India won. The reason why we find matches which are close as exciting is because that excitement is what we are made for. That challenge, that close contest is what we go to see a match for. We don't want to see one opposition beating the opposition fair and square right from day one. Nobody likes boring matches. People like interesting matches. Similarly, if you go to a movie, the movies that are interesting are where a hero and villain are meeting multiple times. The villain is really challenging the hero. He's trying to break the hero apart, left, right, and center. The hero fights against all battles and comes out winner. All these instances in movies also demonstrate the same thing. The human instinct is to look for the hero. The human instinct is to support the hero. Why? Because heroes are the ones who are displaying character which I would like to have, which I desire to have. But I am not a hero, so I cannot be displaying those strong characters. But the moment life throws up a situation at me, am I going to be a hero or I'm going to be a wussy who's going to shy away from the challenge? 99% of the people, when they fear trouble, they don't want to take up challenge. But when a challenge is thrown upon them, what if you're in a train and the train is burning? You will jump out of a running train and you'll run as fast as possible. But if I ask you to go for a run today, 90% of the people might not be even interested in wearing a shoe and stepping out. The reality is that when situation forces something, everyone is ready. But when the situation does not force something, you're like, let me take it easy. Let me have a nice pakoda. Let me take a break and relax. Why do I have to go out and run? I have a car to take me. I have a bike to take me. Why should I walk? But when situations force you, that's where your legs suddenly find the power and the magic to start running. You look at scenarios where great athletes, great sports teams, they have all succeeded when back were against the wall. When the star player was injured, a young player came in and scored a century. You talk about the 1983 World Cup and the 175 which Kapil Dev scored against Zimbabwe. When top five batsmen were out for just 17 runs is when Kapil Dev stood up and scored that magic 175 knock. Had those first 5 batsmen not been as bad, Kapil would not have been the Kapil we know today. And we know how kind of a transformation he was able to make. Similarly, for me, my transformation journey also happened in a very similar way, where I realized that I was not aware about my running abilities till I was 40. And it was a coincidence that I got a chance to take part in a half marathon. And I said, okay, what's an half marathon? I didn't even know half marathon is 21.1 kilometers. And I signed up for it. Within 5 weeks, I ran my first half marathon. From then till now, I've done 50 plus marathons. And even now, when a marathon comes up, I have to think 2 times whether I should be running a marathon or not. But when I'm running the marathon, the feeling is very different from when I start before the marathon. It's not just about running the marathon. It's the kind of challenges, the ambiguity, the uncertainties which come up when you're running a marathon. And I would like to share some of the experiences that I had. This is the picture which I took in 2018 after a 50K Malnad Ultra. At that point of time, I had not gone beyond 42 kilometers. To run a distance of 50 kilometers, even after having done 42, was quite a challenge. And I went with full enthusiasm. At the 8-kilometer mark, I tripped and I fell. And my knee was bleeding, and I thought it's just a knee injury. It was later that I realized that I had twisted my left ankle. I had 42 more kilometers to go. 3 times there was a bus which was passing by to say, if you are too injured, you don't want to continue, we can get you on the bus. I refused. 8 hours, 40 minutes it took me to complete the 50-kilometer ultra, just 20 minutes before the cutoff time. I did not stop because I wanted to know whether I can do it or not. And guess what? I could actually do it. There's another interesting incident which happened subsequently in 2019 February when I was doing the first half Ironman in Delhi. I was running 102-degree temperature. I was told jumping into the water, which is important for a half Ironman, where the swimming is the first event, is dangerous. They said you could probably choke. You could probably get a heart attack because of water around you. I decided to take a chance. Not only did I swim, I went on the bike. But on the bike, something funny happened. My back wheel tire went puncture. This was around 70-kilometer mark. And I had 20 kilometers more to go. Okay, no problem. I dragged my cycle back to the start. They replaced the tire and I went ahead. After 10 kilometers, another flat tire. The same tire had gone flat. Okay, no problem. I went back. When the third time I had a flat tire in the same tire, I started questioning myself. Maybe God didn't want me to be doing this half Ironman in the first place. Then I said, if God does not want me to do it, no better challenge than to challenge God. And I went ahead and continued. And again, it's interesting, but I finished the half Ironman exactly at 8:40. Again, 20 minutes before cutoff time. There's another interesting race which I signed up for. This was Tata Mumbai Marathon, full marathon. I had cramps at 10-kilometer mark. Any of you who have experienced cramps, you realize how it would be like running another 32 kilometers after that. And I did that simply because I had dedicated this run to 5 people I had lost in my life. This comes to be the most interesting one. My first full Ironman was in August 2022. The event was on the 14th of August. And I had, on 31st July, I did the last cycling 100K cycling ride. At 96K, when I was coming back into the city, I tripped and I fell. And I fractured my left wrist. Immediately parking my bike, went to the hospital, got an X-ray done. And the doctor said, okay, you have a wrist fracture. You need to put a cast for 6 weeks. And I smiled. No, I laughed. He was like, why are you laughing? This is something serious. I said, sir, I have an Ironman in 2 weeks. Fortunately enough, the orthopedic was also a cyclist and he understood that we are slightly mental. He knew that reason would not work with me. He said, okay, after a week, come back. I'll remove the cast and I'll give you a splint and then it's all up to you. Not only did I go ahead to the Ironman, I swam without a splint. I went on the cycle. 5 kilometers into the cycle, I was supposed to put on the splint, but I did not feel the pain. I said, let me carry on and see how long I can. Funny enough, the result was, I got my first full Ironman in 15 hours. That was 1 hour less than the scheduled estimate time of 16 hours that I had planned for. So imagine, compared to a fully fit Hetal who was planning to do a full Ironman in 16 hours plus, a Hetal with a broken wrist was able to do it in 15 hours. I cycled for 7 hours with a broken wrist. What this proves is that the trouble is something which encouraged me. The challenge is what encouraged me to do even better. It brought out something slightly better than me than what I would have expected. Mikhail Csikszentmihalyi has talked about the concept called flow. And it talks about always identify challenges slightly above your ability. Not too high, because then you would give up very fast. Not too low, because you would find it too easy. Slightly above. So you are constantly looking for something a little bit more extra, a little more difficult. Javed Akhtar has given this beautiful line, लहरों से टकराकर नैया पार नहीं होती, हिम्मत करने वालों की हार नहीं होती. If you are making an effort, you will never be a loser. But if you don't even try, you will not even know whether you could have been a winner or not. The difference between trying and not trying is that small gap of faith and trust. The moment you onboard yourself with the trust and faith, anyone can move mountains. But if you hold yourself back based on what society has told you, what you have grown up believing, you will never be able to cross that barrier and move ahead. Finally, it all comes down to your ability to set up goals and go across them. Identify challenges and say, I'm going to face you. I'm going to crack you. I'm going to break you. And the moment you have cross challenges, there's some beautiful concept called post-traumatic growth. You have all heard about post-traumatic stress. Post-traumatic growth says that the moment you have passed a trauma, the moment you have passed a tough thing in your life, you grow. You become stronger. You become more bolder. You look for bigger challenges. Someone who's done a marathon doesn't go home and sit. He looks for another marathon. Someone who's climbed a mountain doesn't go back and sit at home. He looks for a taller mountain. He wants to climb the mountain again. He wants to climb the mountain without oxygen. He wants to climb the mountain fast. Why? Because he has built that sense belief that nothing is beyond him. And when you have that sense belief that nothing is beyond him, actually nothing is beyond you. All your limitations, all your life goals are purely decided based on the circumstances that you're in. Get out of that zone. Get out of that circumstances, and you will realize that you are a completely different person. You are someone who would be willing to take up new challenges, new avenues, and new growths. So all of us, let's decide, all invite trouble. Trouble is not what happens to you. Trouble is what you choose to do. Thank you very much.